Hello and welcome to this week's show of Weighted Donuts. I'm Wayne Unger. I'm flying solo as a host this week. And I've been away for a couple of weeks. I haven't really been anywhere. I'm just in the middle of a move. So this is the first show I've done since June 24th, and today is July 12th. But I'm sure nobody noticed. Anyway, today I have a special guest, someone who I go way back with, who has achieved some celebrity in his own right. I have comedian, and I'll put slash and he can add the rest. I have Glenn Hirsch. Welcome, Glenn.
Yay, Wayne. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you. Sounds like fun.
Thank you. So, here's how it unwraps. I mean, you're a couple years older than me, I believe. I think you're my sister's age. And
yes, you're a kid. I'd love to ask you about theater too when we get to it. That'd be great.
Okay. And, I was good friends with your brother. And
right.
So all I know is, like, many years ago, one day I hear that you're a comedian. You're working. You're working as a comedian. So, you're doing comedy clubs.
Right.
I remember way back in the day you did a Fruit of the Loom commercial.
I did a bunch of them. Well, here's how it started. Look, first of all, our neighborhood, Jackson Heights. I tell this to everybody I talk to when we talk comedy. Everybody in my neighborhood was funny. Everybody. I remember the days after we finished playing ball or whatever we might be doing in the park, which was the center of the universe. I'm sure you might have talked about it in all the times you've been on the radio and on iPod, your podcast. But everybody was funny. I mean, I look back now and I hear people telling great stories, doing characters, and just really being invested in the funny. And that's all we did was laugh and play ball. I downstairs, lifestyle behind closed doors upstairs in our apartments, whole nother world, with our parents, whole nother place. But downstairs, when we were all together, fun and games. And I just chose to take it in that direction. And I got into school. I was a political science major for the first 2 years in college. Never felt comfortable because I always wanted to talk. I'd sit in the back of the room. I wanted to talk to people and entertain them. And then one day, another mutual friend of ours, my friend Stephen Buchwald, came to me and said, Glenn, found this class, Easy A. Took me to an acting class, Wayne, at Queens College. And I walked in, I saw people banging their heads against the wall, jumping over furniture, and getting credit for it. And I said, I could do this. And that's where it began for me, right in school as a theater major.
Wow.
Wayne?
See, and I'm here, and I'm just listening. I'm listening to the story.
Oh, okay, yeah,
like I said,
that's how it began.
I never knew this.
Yeah, every once in a while, nod your head so I know you're there.
Okay.
So I got into school and started doing plays and started developing, comedy with friends of mine in the theater department. We would hang out during the day, and we would just do these improvs and stuff. And one day, you know how college can be. One day we were doing some silly stuff in the back theater, and these kids that were taking film class, television class, they saw us, and they said, do you mind if we film you? And we said, sure. In school you just want to do what you're studying, and you get the opportunity because it's there. Not about money at this point. It's just about doing. So they filmed us, and they put us on the closed-circuit camera televisions in the student union. And believe it or not, we started to get a following at the school. And so we started to do this, and it became fun. And then one day, one of the guys in my improv group came in one day when we were meeting and said, hey, I just booked this at a local comedy club. I said, what? He said, yeah, we're going to work at the Metro. You remember the Metro, Wayne?
Was that on Metro? That was in like Forest Hills, like.
Yes. Well, I believe Regal Park. Or Flushing Meadow, I don't know. One of the areas that was near Newtown.
The Metro, it was near Newtown, or was it further up off of Woodhaven Boulevard, like by
yes, you're right. Yeah, Woodhaven. Yes, that's the club. And believe it or not, I had just gone there a couple of months before and seen David Brenner and Andy Kaufman. And this guy books us in that room, which at that point was magical to me because I thought, wow, how can we work there? Those guys are professionals. Those guys are great. How can we go there? He booked us. I guess they had an audition night or something, whatever it was that night. We went on. We invited everybody we knew from school, right? So we packed that room with everybody we knew. So we went on that stage that night and just killed because we all knew each other. And so the owner, this guy, Steve Epstein, Epi, he liked us and said, listen, man, you guys are great. Why don't you come back tomorrow night, which was a Saturday. So we went back on a Saturday and we performed to a totally strange audience. No, we didn't know a soul. And we died 1,000 deaths. It's amazing, the difference. In fact, to the point where these two guys that I was on stage with bailed on me. They just split. And I thought, I'm not gonna run away. So I started talking to these people. I did about 5 minutes. I don't even know what I talked about. But I got a few laughs, and I walked up that stage thinking, I'd like to try this myself. And then from that moment on, I started keeping notes on anything and everything that might be funny or said funny or thought funny. And after I graduated, 6 months later, I started going to these open mic nights and audition nights at the Improv. I'd buy these magazines and papers in New York. Backstage and Show Business was these newspapers that would tell you where auditions were. Yeah. So I would go, and my goal was the improvisation, the godfather of all comedy clubs on 44th Street 9th. That was the goal. After 6 months, I went there, stood online from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 when they handed out the numbers. I was number 10. I went on stage, did my 6 minutes. I was invited back by Bud Friedman at the time, who was still there before he moved to California. And I was invited back to hang out for the next year and not work at all. But to watch guys like Andy Kaufman, Richard Lewis, Elaine Boozler, Bob Shaw, Alan Zweibel. These were just great people to watch and work and learn. And guys like Pryor would come in, Robert Klein would come in, Rodney was always in. I mean, it was graduate school for comedy, and I got to hang out and watch and get on at 2 o'clock in the morning. And before that, I would go to other clubs that I could find just to work, and that's how it started for me. And now, 40 years later, I've never done anything else. And it's been great, it's been fun, but it's show business is a tough life. Had I known then what I know now, I don't know, Wayne. I don't know. But, it all started from where we hung out. Our neighborhood was a funny place where we all escaped to the park and hung out and nurtured each other. I don't know if you felt that.
No, it's very true. I mean, whether we were at the park or whether we were, at the luncheonette or at White Castle.
Right, the candy store, right. The corner candy store, absolutely. Right, exactly.
Yes, wherever we were, there was always a story to bring back, so to speak. There was always
for you. I don't know about you. You were younger, and we didn't run the same circles, but I knew who you were. I knew your sister, obviously, and you hung with my brother. So we were all connected. But that neighborhood for me, and the park for me, was a safe place. If you use that politically correct word these days, it was just a place where I could go because home life was not so easy. Everybody was struggling. Everybody was hurting behind closed doors, and it was a deal. I mean, I talk to guys now my age, and you hear what went on in the apartments in Northridge, in the apartments in Southridge with the parents, and it's fascinating. And then yet we all came downstairs, played ball, laughed, and had a good time. And that's where it began for me, and sports was a very important part of it too. We were able to come downstairs, choose up sides, and play from 9 o'clock in the morning till, if we didn't have to eat, if I didn't have to eat dinner, I would have been out till the next morning at 9 o'clock.
No, it's true. I mean, and even for me in like later years,
Right.
I was one who indulged in substances quite a bit,
Yeah.
and even then, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it, but I was running up and down the basketball court. It was,
wait, you weren't the only one. I don't know what you got into, but we were all smoking and doing weed and that kind of stuff. I never really did any more craziness than marijuana because, for me, I never wanted to get that far away from my brain where I could not function. I was never that kind of guy. But, look, we all did it. And when you're young, you experiment with everything. And but we did. We all made a point of coming downstairs and running up and down that court. You're absolutely right.
Yes. And that was our life. And, and I tell you what, and I think, I think in a way, like that might be a reason why I consider us to have been way more well-adjusted than the kids I see today in the city.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think first of all, I don't think there's any community today. You know what I mean? Just speaking from my daughter, who's now 22, watching her grow up, we had a community, but it was all wrapped around school, and everything had to be organized. I mean, she had to play organized sports. She had organized classes. It was exhausting. I at one point when she was growing up, I didn't feel like her parent. I felt like her assistant. I was setting up appointments. Think about it. Your mother, father ever take you somewhere to play, stand around and watch? No. You open the front door of your apartment, and you open the front door of your apartment and left. They didn't ask you where you're going, what are you going to be doing, when are you going to be home, who you're hanging out with. Never. And if they did, you just answered. I remember my conversation with my mother. Where are you going, Glenn? I don't know. When will you be home? I don't know. Glenn, you don't know anything. I know. That was the conversation.
Yeah.
And walked out the door.
Yeah, pretty much. Listen, if my mother or my father really needed to find me, they knew to check the park, the candy store, White Castle. Like, it was only like a 3-4, generally I was going to be at a few different places.
Right. There were no phones, but you know what? There were no phones back then, no internet, obviously, but we were surrounded by thousands of parents. You know what I mean? Those buildings were pretty protective in those days, and so we never even thought about that. The safety for us was not an issue. I don't know. Kids seem to be so freaking protected now. It's scary. I don't know what the future holds because, in terms of sports too, my daughter, when she was like 8 years old, got into playing soccer, out here in Los Angeles, AYSO. And in those days, they finished I think they won one game out of 12, and yet they were in the playoffs. You explain this to me. They got a freaking trophy for finishing ninth.
I agree.
I got into these arguments with the coach. Nobody loses in this. What are you talking about? Nobody loses. Life is freaking competitive. What are we teaching them? So I would talk to my daughter and tell her, you got to play as hard as you can. You got to try to do the best you can, win or lose, and it's going to be a win or lose. I'm going to see win or lose. I'm going to tell you, even if the other team scores 15 goals and you score 13 goals, you lose. You know what I mean? Even though you might have scored 5 goals. You played as hard as you could, but winning and losing, it's a team sport. So, you know what? She picked up on that to the point where she became a great soccer player and played, high school varsity soccer. I was proud of her for that, Didn't take it any farther because she got burnt out on the sport, obviously. But it was about competition, and that's what I don't see going on these days. I don't know what that bodes for the future. At least with us, we knew who won or lost. We played those freaking games. You lost, you left the court. Remember those days?
That's right. Yes. You lost. Who's next?
That's right.
Whether
I got next.
Basketball,
you come there, you call it. I got right. Basketball, football,
I'm
baseball.
saying, right. You call next, and then when somebody loses, whoever called next goes up, and it didn't matter if it was the basketball court or the handball court.
Right. We never heard hey, he played great. He should play again. Get off the court, man. You're lost. That was the deal. That's all it was, and that's lost now too. And there's no community anymore. I don't know I don't know. They don't have, do your kids, do they have a park? Do they have a neighborhood? I don't see it out here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I live in Staten Island, and
okay.
There's a schoolyard about 7 blocks from me, so like, the kids will be there like sometimes to play basketball, but
are they?
Don't really.
That's exciting to me. That's exciting to hear because to this day, I still love the sound of a really full park with kids. You remember that?
It's not a full park. No, I don't want to get your hopes up. It's not a full park. All right? I kid you not. It's like, if there's 20 kids in there, that's good. Okay? So, yeah, it is kind of sad because,
so they're not shoveling snow off the basketball court these days? They don't do that anymore?
No, they're not, and they're not going into the stores when it snows to earn a couple of bucks to shovel the walk to the stores or things like that. Yeah, that stuff it's just not happening.
So I mean, the kids it's a different place for them now. It really is.
Well, listen, they have, my youngest, he's 11.
Right.
He's buried in his phone all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Okay? There are times I have to tell him, no, put the phone down. Like, can you go get this for me? Sure. Put the phone down. It's like I have to tell him, put the phone down when you're eating because, you know what? You're not watching what you're eating. You don't see if something falls to the floor, like,
it's true.
It's just, oh man. It's like, I tell him, I say, you vacuum and you vacuum and you do the Swiffer for the kitchen. Cause it's all your stuff on the floor, not mine. Cause my daughter, she's 19. If she sits at the table twice a week to eat, that's a lot. She's just never home.
Yeah, I'm amazed you see her anymore. Right. Is she going to school? Yeah. Where's she going? What's she doing?
My daughter, when she graduated high school, she went to New York City College of Technology, which is a CUNY college. It's in Brooklyn. She did 1 semester. She didn't like it. She then was working, bullshit jobs in the mall, and then she decided she wanted to become a barber. And she went to barber school. She graduated, and she's been working as a barber. But today my kids got on an airplane. Like I said, I was telling you, they're in Florida. So she will have to re-establish herself down there, and the licensing is different. But right now she's a barber, and she's actually
but she's got to focus, and that's important this day and age, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's got hair, man. She wants to be a hair cutter. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an art too, and that's hard work.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt, and it is hard work. I don't think I could do it. Listen, I just finished my, I'm not retired. I retired from my last job. I worked for Coca-Cola for 20 years. I started out there like moving machines and delivering machines, and then I became a service technician there. So, I did hard work, but I tell you, to me, work cutting hair, standing on my feet and cutting hair with my, my head
absolutely, man.
I tell you what, I don't think I could do that.
No, I could definitely say I couldn't do that. I could stand on my feet for an hour and a half and talk to you comedically. That's it. I'm done. But 8 hours, and that's tough, man. But if you have a passion for something, you do it. I'm happy for her. And she's okay with you move to Florida? Yeah, I got you. I got you. Well,
listen. The original plan, she was supposed to stay, and she had. How teenagers are. Oh no, listen. Nikki wants me to come live with her. Her parents said it's okay, and we're gonna move into the basement, and okay. Right. And then, some months ago, I was like, so everything's all set. You're good with Nikki. Well, I don't know. And then she started angling and so. Anyway, thankfully.
Hey, look, she's only 19. She's only 19. She's only 19. New York City's not going nowhere. She can move back
exactly
if she wants to.
Listen,
Do her
I
thing.
wanted her to go. I actually think that she's gonna enjoy it very much. The thing is, like, just like we were embedded in Jackson Heights.
Right. Yeah.
Staten Island is all she knows. And even though she didn't have to park through school and they would, here they go hang out at the mall on a Friday night or Saturday night.
That was,
whatever,
no, I get it. I get it. Not easy.
And
for a teenage
like,
girl, not easy to move. Right.
Listen, like my parents were Wayne Unger's parents. I'm Skylar Unger's father. She's extremely popular. So, and
well,
I think she'll.
There's no boy. You're lucky there's no boyfriend involved. That would have been a real pain in the ass.
Well, no, but she doesn't have boyfriends. She has girlfriends, and but yes, I am lucky because she was with somebody for a while, and they kind of like, fizzled out about 6-7 months ago.
If that relationship was still happening, that would be a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it most certainly would.
I'm glad she's down there. Well,
sounds
like you did good. You did good there. And what part of Florida?
I'm going to an area called Oviedo, which is sort of like northeast. I'm not near Disney. I'm probably about 40 minutes from Disney, like northeast of Disney. I'm near the University of Central Florida. And
really?
once I get settled there in a few weeks, I'm going to be an Uber driver.
That's you know what? Sounds like a nice life down there, man. And you can let you go. You can do it on your time.
I drove a cab in New York City back in the day. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a little story. One time, I'm driving past Catch a Rising Star, and Robin Williams had just pulled up with some friends, and he was riding in the back of a remember the little mini pickups, the Nissan, the Datsun mini pickups?
Yes,
he was riding in the back of the pickup in the bed. And so, and I stopped and actually I gave him $1 bill to autograph. So,
you got it? You got it?
Oh yeah. I would imagine, I hope that my second wife still has it because I gave it to her and, that, because I remember my son was really young and it's funny, on my clipboard, like I had my trip sheet on the clipboard. And underneath there, I had like pictures of my wife and my oldest son.
Right.
And Robin, he noticed her. He goes, "Oh, she's nice looking." I'll never forget that. He was, but he was very nice. He was very accommodating.
I knew him a little bit. We met at the clubs, and then my friend was doing his show, so we became friendly. And just so sad to see a man with that kind of talent, but that kind of pain underneath it. You never knew. Nobody knew. Remarkable. How painful. How in pain he was. How sick he really was psychologically. It's a tough one. It was a tough one in the comedy world and obviously in the show business world and for the most part, U.S. It's a tough one. But he was a decent human being. He was a good man.
Yes. Listen, we had it in our own neighborhood just a few years ago.
I know.
And
You talking about Brian? You talking about Brian?
Yes, I'm talking about Brian, and
that was tough.
Unfortunately, I've had it over the years with other close friends, people from different circles, and
me too. Look, comedians by nature, it's a lethal mix of ego and insecurity. You know what I mean? So you're on top of the world when you're standing there entertaining and they're laughing with you. If it doesn't go well, the insecurity can eat at you. Believe me, I can talk to that. And if you're really not really as centered as you should be, I mean, I have friends, very, very talented guys, very funny human beings, who one guy blew his brains out, and that's crazy in my frame of reference. It's just to do it that way, to do what Brian did. Nobody. I mean, were you in touch with him over the years?
I wasn't.
You were? Yeah, Jeff too. My brother either. He pulled away from everybody. His wife pulled him away, and he allowed it to happen. He even pulled away from his brothers. You know,
Yeah.
it's a
And
tough one.
and I discovered he didn't live all that far from me. Like
Really?
Staten Island is very close to New Jersey. There are three
Right.
bridges in Staten Island that go to New Jersey.
Wow.
And yeah, and so like
No,
yeah,
but
when I,
but
you know,
wait, no matter what you did, and you've done a lot in terms of unifying or keeping the neighborhood going with you, you know, being a real big part of the reunions every year, and that's a wonderful thing. How is that going to continue without you on site, pretty much? Will you be still doing that? Will you have to come up if you
no,
come to one?
I certainly can't do it this year. Although I
Right.
have something planned for South Florida. You know,
Right.
it's 3 hours away from me, but we're actually getting together on August 25th.
My
And
brother does my brother know about this get together?
yes, your brother knows about it.
Yeah, he'd love that. He
Like
would love
now,
that.
I'll rattle off some names. Well, besides your brother, Ronnie Erster and his wife will be there.
Right.
Diane said she'll make sure that Richie Zabon is there. Bernie Rose will be there. Andrea Kirka.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, these are great names.
Yeah.
These are great names. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So
That's what I mean.
yeah, I mean,
you tend to do that. You bring people out. That's a great thing you can do. That's good.
I did this 2 years ago when I had gone down to Florida 2 years ago, like at the end of August. So I put something out there, like on our, on our 90th Street Park group page.
Sure.
And, I'd say we had about 20, 25 people. It was
Wonderful.
great.
That's what I'm sure.
Exactly.
Look, I'm gonna be doing some shows in New Jersey. I think I mentioned it online, but I'll mention it again.
I know, yes.
Hasbrook, and then I'm going to Borgata and Atlantic City, so I'm hoping to see some familiar faces, some old familiar faces. That would be terrific.
I gotta tell you, man, your timing for these bookings really suck. Okay, I want to put that out there. Okay.
Well, look, I'm gonna try to get down to Florida too, so hang in there, man. Over the years I've kind of cut back on traveling because show business also means that you travel for the rest of your life. I have truly never unpacked my toiletry bag. I just get home, take it out of my suitcase, put it under my sink, and I'm getting ready to go. I've never opened up a medicine cabinet and pulled out my stuff. It's always from under the sink. It's the lifestyle I live. I mean, I have 2 million miles on American Airlines alone since 1988. That's just them. I mean, millions and millions of miles. It just, I used to be proud of that. Now, it just means I'm away a lot, and I've missed a lot of personal and family things. Yeah, I'm the entertainment for somebody's vacation. I'm the entertainment for somebody's night out. That's cool. I enjoy that, and I chose it. Just like they said in The Godfather, this is the business we chose. So that's, the downside is, and I said it to myself recently, that I travel for a living. That's what I get paid for. The show I do, free. That's free. And that's what I've learned over the years, And look, my daughter has a passion for music. She goes to a art school out here. She's in her last year. Do I like show business? No, I hate it. I think the business sucks. After 40 years of being in it, I can speak to it. But she's got a passion. I got to back her up. I can't be a hypocrite. My mother didn't give me any backing, didn't make it easy for me, and that doesn't help. It didn't help me, and so I'm going to give her as much as I can give her. Do I hate the fact that she's going into this business? Between you and me, don't tell anybody? Yes. And she knows it. We've been very honest with each other. But she's got a passion, and passion's everything. You got a passion for something, nobody can get in your way. You'll eat right through a wall to get there. That's what I've learned. So
it's very true, and I've always let my kids take their own path as long as I don't see them going down a bad path.
Yeah, well, of course, absolutely.
And that's all you can do. Like listen, my oldest son was heavy into sports. He was playing ball with me from like the age of 2.
Right.
He played he played high school baseball. He made his college team, but then he transferred out and moved to Florida, and he never
Right.
played college baseball again. But that was his thing. Now, my daughter was into, we had her in gymnastics, we had her in soccer, we had her in music, and you know what? She was happiest when she was just hanging out and just being a kid. And that was it. And I never pushed her into anything else. As long as she didn't get in trouble, I never pushed her in,
Wait,
and my youngest, yes.
That's very honestly to say. She was just happy being a kid. I think we all were. That's the beauty of it. In other words, I didn't say to her, you have to, oh no, you got to find a hobby. You got to find some outside interest. Like, no, you know what? Because what I noticed is, she, like, the way I get people together for the reunions and things like that, she has that same type of organizational skill. Because when it's a good quality, man. It's good quality.
She was the one that organized all these, the buses and the week after the prom weekend getaway. And I mean, she organized and collected and negotiated and, she did all that stuff. And my youngest is into sports a little bit, but his passion is the WWE. Hey, what can I tell you?
Absolutely.
That's what he loves. And you know what?
How old is he?
He's 11. Let me tell you something. He's 11.
Hey, man, let him be 11.
He knows wrestling like I know baseball. I kid you not.
Right.
And that's what he's into. And again, as long as he's a good kid and he's not in trouble and he's not going down any kind of bad paths, let him enjoy. Let him be a kid. And I'll tell you something. When I was a kid, I was always in the 1 classes. I was in the SP.
Right, sure.
I went to Brooklyn Tech. I hated it. After like a few months, I said, "That's it. I can't take it. I want to go to the local high school." Right. And my parents were upset, but in the end, I ended up dropping out of school. But I didn't want to go to Brooklyn Tech. I wanted to go to automotive high school. I was into cars. I wanted to go to automotive high school. Well, you know what, Wayne?
I said to hear that coming from you because that was your passion, man. And I wish you had followed that. Do you still tinker with cars at least now, today, to this day?
No, I don't. But you know what? What it is back then, particularly coming from, the American Jewish culture, like, oh no, you're going to go to college, okay?
Right.
No, vocational school, that's for dummies. That's for the kids that can't get into college. Well,
isn't that unbelievable? Because now it's gone back. Right now, it's gone totally the other way as far as I'm concerned.
Listen,
man. You go to a technical school now. You're smarter than the kids that go to college for the most part.
Well, let me tell you something. It's funny because at the age of 18, after being out of school for a few years, I decided to go to Apex Technical School to learn air conditioning and refrigeration. And I did that. I went there. I did it for a little while. I wasn't crazy about it. I delved into other things, but I ended up back into it. And for a while, I actually had my own little business, and I made some, a nice little living doing it. Unfortunately, I was so caught up with drugs, I couldn't maximize on it. But that's how life is. But it's funny how you come full circle at the age of 43. Here it is. I go to work for Coca-Cola, and I end up in the vending department, and those skills came into play. And within a year and a half, I was a technician, and which was like a highly sought after.
There you go. So what you learned, the choices you made, did help you later on. See, so that's cool.
In the end, it worked out. It worked out.
Right.
So
and you know what? Look, and now, you sound good. I haven't seen you in a bit, but someday we'll see each other, I hope. And I'll be down in Florida. I'm hoping to travel around the state. We're looking to set up something down there. Right now, like I said, I wish you were still in Staten Island because from Jersey, on August 10th and 11th. I'll be at Hasbrook Heights Bananas, and then the Borgata Hotel in Atlantic City from the 14th to the 20th. And it would have been nice to see you somewhere along the way. But hopefully I'll see other friends.
And that was actually the last time I saw you was when the last time, I'm assuming it was the last time you were at Bananas. And I tell you what, it had to be more than 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I was still married to wife number 3. So it had to.
What are we up to now? Is that it? 3? Is that it? We done?
No. I married and divorced number 4 as well.
Wait, there's comedy there, my friend. There's comedy there.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's a story, absolutely.
So tell me something. I just want to, I know you don't have a lot of time. I just want to swing to baseball. So,
sure.
You're a Yankee fan living in Dodgerland. Is it?
Well, I'm a New York fan living in Dodgerland. I've always been. How guys would take the Mets or the Yankees. I was both. In the year 2000, when those guys played each other in the World Series, I left the country. No news, good news, bad news. I had no fun watching them play. I'm still, I'm a pretty, I'm a purist when it comes to sports. I still don't like this interleague play. I hate it. I don't either.
And I don't like the DH either. I don't like the DH either.
The DH I've gotten accustomed to and just see more hitting, but to me, when they play each other during the season, it just waters down the World Series for me. I mean, it's still exciting, but I've never liked it. It's not going backwards, so I got to accept it. But that's what I am. So I'm a New Yorker out here, and I have no interest in the Dodgers. And they are a freaking great team. A great team this year. But to me, the excitement of the New York Yankees right now is unbelievable. The kids today, remarkable. They're doing it the right way now. Clean house and do it and start again. And they've done it, and they're doing it pretty fast.
Oh, yeah. I think faster than they expected. They hit a little bump in the road.
It's all about pitching. It gets down to pitching in the end. They got the offense. They got the kids that can hit. It's the pitching. And now it seems their biggest strength last year is their biggest weakness now. The relief pitching is
the bullpen.
I mean, this Tyler
Clippers,
he should be gone, man.
Their relief pitching was excellent early in the year as well. And
I don't know what happened. I don't know what went south. They came out here. They went on that West Coast trip, and they got their asses handed to them. And they went home and took that attitude with them. I mean, what were they, 7-18 the last 27 games or something? Stupid.
Yeah. I was at the game actually a week ago today. 1 week ago today at this time, I was actually at the stadium, and what you can see Betances, he's like, big guys, they have a hard time repeating their delivery. And once they get out of sync, once they get out of sync, it's very difficult for them to. So
you saw it last night. You saw them do it again in the All-Star game. It's just the same thing. You just can't repeat it. And look, they got the young kids, so if they can get the pitching, I'd like to see them get into the playoffs this year. That would give them a lot of hope.
It's going to be difficult, though. It's going to be difficult.
It will.
I'll tell you why. And I'm not even talking about now, even going forward for next year. All right. I mean, Sabathia, he's been steady. Yeah. He was hurt. He was out for a month, but Sabathia has given them more than they expected.
Well, it's true.
Okay.
I said it when he first started at the beginning of the year. I'm watching him pitch and I'm thinking, you got to get him out. You can't let him keep going like this. And then he straightened up. And then for the last, a month, he was the best pitcher they had. And then he gets hurt. That's the problem with being old.
Okay.
Older.
Pineda, actually, when I saw the game last week, I'm watching Pineda. Okay. I'll tell you what I've observed about Pineda. Okay. When he works fast, okay, he's a much better pitcher. When he takes too much time out there in between pitches, that's when he gets into trouble. And
I'm going to watch that. That's interesting.
And I noticed I noticed earlier in the year when he pitched a couple of good games, he had Austin Romine behind the plate. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, like Romine, you know, he works good with Romine. I'm like, I guess Romine's the guy that has him working fast. And when I saw Romine was going to be behind the plate last Wednesday, I was like, oh, good. You know, he'll have him working fast.
How'd that go?
No,
Did they win that game?
Case.
Did they win?
No, they lost. They lost.
Yeah.
They lost. Okay.
Was it because of him or because of the relief? Was it relief pitching?
Well,
let them down?
It was relief pitching. They were down 5-0. They went up 6-5. Then it was 6-6, and then they lost. And yes, it was the relief pitching, and it was a lot of walks. So
yeah,
and a lot of walks by the chances.
Clifford is. I don't know. He's lost it totally for me. Clifford is a problem. And,
you know what? Clifford's numbers have always been better than his results, so to speak.
Well, maybe just the last 5 times I've seen him pitch, man, they bring him in, and the ball goes out.
Well, he's a fly ball pitcher. He's a fly ball pitcher.
But it's going farther now. He's losing the games.
Yeah.
You know, and he keeps saying, "I'm okay, okay, I'll right myself." Well, you know what? It's frustrating. Look, they're a young team, obviously. I mean, the young guys, the young hitters, that's what's exciting, man. This freaking Judge is unbelievable. Sanchez, this new kid Frazier, I love them. I love these guys. I mean,
and there's more coming. You have, I mean, besides Gleyber Torres, they got this other guy who is their like top shortstop. He was like their top prospect, George Mateo, and he kind of fell into disfavor, and they suspended him for, you know, but he's back.
But look,
back this year,
I'm a big fan.
With a vengeance.
I'm a fan of Didi Gregorius. I think that that's a tough situation that guy came into. To have to take over for Derek Jeter, freaking possibly the greatest Yankee of all times, and he came in, and you know what? He stepped up. He's doing his thing, man. He's never going to be a 340 hitter with 30 home runs, but man, oh man, that's I mean, if they get somebody better than that, that would be impressive. But
well,
you know,
Torres, they're grooming Torres for they're grooming Torres at third base.
Third, yeah, we need a third baseman. We need Edley's not the guy. Edley's not the guy. And there's talk about this guy Mateo. They're gonna, you know, maybe try to convert him to center field because he's like, you know, these guys are just. And then of course you never know. Like you know what? I would say if you got so many guys, you need pitching, man. Trade them for young pitchers. They need pitching. Well, Yankees need pitching.
Well, thankfully, Mateo has raised his stock back up. He was an untradeable 2 years ago. He was untradeable. They never would have traded him. So, you know, but they've also got some pitches on the way. They had this one kid that got hurt. I mean, he had Tommy John surgery. This guy, the kid from UCLA, Caprillion? James Caprillion.
Oh, yes, Caprillion, yes. But that's the problem.
And they've got another guy in AAA, Chance Adams. And I actually happened to catch him. I have the minor league TV package. Basically, you can watch any minor league game you want on your computer. It's $49 a year, I think it was, or $29 a year, whatever it is. So, you know, when they still had Carter, everybody was clamoring for Tyler Austin. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me turn on the Scranton game.
Right.
You know, let me see what Austin looks like. Chance Adams was pitching that night. I tell you what, I really believe we're going to see him this year, and he will be up.
I mean, you know, that'd be exciting. You know, look, it really certainly made the Mets exciting for a few years, bringing up all those young pitchers, and that was interesting too. You know, and then I don't know what the problem is over there, man, but you know, then they had all the pitching but none of the hitting, and now they got nothing. Nothing.
Well,
that's
why you have to always take advantage. Anytime you have some type of window of opportunity, you can't say, well, I don't know, I don't want to go for it now because my guys are young, they're coming up. We'll be up.
Oh, no, you got to go for it. Absolutely.
Position next year. You got to go for it.
And I agree.
So,
You know, they had the Mets penciled in for freaking, you know, the starting five was going to be freaking Hall of Famers. And now, you know, if two of them are back next year, it would be a surprise to me. DeGrom and Syndergaard, that'll be it. Maybe, you know, Matz, but, I don't see Harvey staying with that team much longer. They'll trade his ass.
No, but, you know, they still have Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler's giving it a shot, but he's, you know, he's a year out, he's 2 years out of, you know, whatever he's gone through, and it takes time.
No, but he only just pitched this year. He
That's
kept
true.
having setbacks last year, so this is really
No.
first year back.
I'm a fan. I would hope to see the kid come back, but you know, it's a tough business to be in.
Yes.
But you know, I'm enjoying the Mets. I'm enjoying the Yankees. I'm enjoying the Yankees. Yeah, they do. Listen, Wayne, I gotta roll, but it's a pleasure to have talked to you, man.
Same here. And hey, listen, you know, we'll get you on again in the future.
Certainly, man. We'll talk more stuff.
I hope to see you in Florida sometime soon.
I hope so too, man. All the best to you, and it was great having this conversation. Let's have more.
You got it. All right,
we'll
Glenn,
talk comedy next time. Comedy and baseball. That's the two things, the most important thing to me. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
Take care, Wayne. Wayne Unger. Later.
All right. Okay, so more life, more comedy than baseball. But you know what? Life isn't all baseball, although some of us wish it was. And I hope to be back next week. I hope to get back on track with my shows. I hope you enjoy the show, and have a great day.